Hi, my name is Antonio Sideros, and this is my persuasive speech. Most of us spent 12 years in a classroom, and not one of those years taught us how to cash a check. Think about that for a second. 12 years, and somewhere along the way, we learned to analyze literature, solve equations, and memorize history dates. But the things that actually follow you into real life, what a mortgage means, how credit score works, and what happens when you sign a lease without reading it. None of that made it into the curriculum. And I know what some people might say. That's what your parents are here for. But a lot of parents were never taught that either. So the gap just kept going, generation after generation. I'm a current college student, and like most of you, I went through 12 years of school without being taught a single one of these things I'm about to talk about. High schools must be required to teach financial literacy, basic life skills, and entrepreneurship because graduating without things doesn't just leave students unprepared, but it puts them at a disadvantage. They spend years trying to recover from that. Today, I'll show you what students are not being taught, how the way schools teach leaves too many people behind, and what the solution looks like and why it works. My first point is this. Most students graduate high school and most students graduate high school without the life skills they need to survive adulthood. The list of what's missing is not small. Students leave school not knowing how to budget a paycheck, what interest actually does to debt over time, and how to read a lease agreement or what mortgage payment covers. These are not advanced skills, they are basics and they are being treated like someone else's job to teach. According to Nan J. Morrison, President and CEO of the Council for Economic Education, a nonprofit organization dedicated to K through 12 financial and economic education, in the organization's 2024 survey of the states report, only 35 states currently require any personal finance education at all. And even those requirements are described by Morrison herself as minimal and inconsistently implemented. This directly supports my argument that the gap in financial education is not a local problem, it's a nationwide one. And I want to be clear about something before I move forward. I'm not here to criticize the teachers and educators who show up every day and work hard for their students. This is a structural problem, not a personal one. The system was built for a different era and it has not kept up with what students actually need. So that covers what is missing from the content, but the problem does not stop there because the way schools deliver that content is its own separate issue. My second point is that the way schools teach ignores more than a century of research on how people actually learn. For over 100 years, psychology has established people process and absorb information differently. Different people learn at different speeds through different methods and using different kinds of thinking. That is not a theory, that is a settled science. But walk into most American high schools and you will find one method, one pace, one structure. Sit down, be quiet, take notes, take that test. And if that environment does not work for you, you fall behind. And if you fall behind, you start to believe the problem is you. According to researchers at the American Psychological Association, a peer-reviewed professional organization representing psychological science in the United States, published studies in educational psychology consistently show that students taught in ways mismatched to how they naturally process information are significantly more likely to disengage, drop out, and internalize beliefs that they are not intelligent when in reality the method failed them. This supports my argument that the structure of teaching itself is causing unnecessary academic failure. Think about the students who were told they were slow or lazy or just not school people. How many of them simply needed something different, something the system was never built to offer? The student is not the problem, the mold is. Now that we have established what is missing and why the current approach falls short, the question becomes, what does the fix actually look like? My third point is that requiring entrepreneurship and life skills education gives every student a fair and equal shot. Entrepreneurship education is not just for people who want to start a business. When you learn how to identify a problem, build a plan, manage money, and handle failure, those are skills that carry over into every career you will have, every relationship, and every part of adult life. This is not a niche skill set, it's a universal one. According to Robert Farley, an economic professor at the University of California, in the 2022 Kaufman Youth Entrepreneurship Survey published by the Ewing Marion Kaufman Foundation, one of the largest private foundations focused on entrepreneurship research in the United States. Young people who receive entrepreneurship education demonstrate measurably higher rates of financial literacy and career readiness compared to those who do not. This directly reinforced my argument in that entrepreneurship education produces real lasting and broadly applicable outcomes. And this is not untested territory. Countries like Finland have already built life skills into their national curriculum, and they consistently rank among the highest in the world for students' well-being and long-term success after graduation. The model exists, it works. The only question is whether we are willing to adopt it. Um, Today, I showed you that students are not being taught the life skills they need, that the way schools teach ignores how people actually learn, and that entrepreneurship and life skills education is a proven solution and we have the ability to implement it. Every student deserves to graduate knowing not just what they were taught in a classroom, but how to actually function in the world outside of it. And right now, too many students are not getting that. School gave us diplomas, it should have also given us the tools to use them. Thank you.